I want to thank you for joining us for another episode of the Past the Present podcast. I'm your host, Alan the Great. Today we have a very, 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 very special guest. I've been waiting for a while to get this done, to finally sit down with Mayor LaDaena Thomas. Did I say your name right, LaDaena Thomas?
LaDaena Thomas, yes.
Okay. So I want to give you the backstory first before we go. Mayor LaDaena Thomas is the mayor of Penn, New Jersey, and has made multiple beautiful changes to the Penn borough, has brought progress to the borough, have made many changes in the infrastructure and how things are running. She has corrected a lot of issues, and today she has given us the honor to take the time with her and have a conversation with her. Mayor LaDaena Thomas is also the person who rap mogul and founder, CEO of Rockefeller Records, even said, you need a movie on your life. This is how important today's guest is, people, and how important her story is. Welcome to the Past the Present podcast, Mayor LaDaena Thomas. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I know you had a busy day and it's been busy 24 hours. So I know, I want to be very respectful of your time. I know right now you've been running a marathon with everything going on. So we're going to just get right straight to it. I want to start from the beginning, okay?
Okay.
You moved to Penn, New Jersey in 1990?
Yes.
Okay. What was it like living in Penn, New Jersey in 1990? What was that like?
It was a lot of fun. That was a time, when kids still played outside and it was safe for teenagers to be outside. I mean, we used to stay out all night and we used to play knock, knock, zoom, zoom. And we used to have a ball here in this town. And, it was a time when, if someone else's parents or if the neighbor saw you misbehaving, they would get on you. And then they would go tell your parents, and then your parents would get on you.
Yes.
It was a different time back then, but it was a wonderful time.
What's knock knock zoom? Hold on. I think I know what you're talking about.
Knock knock zoom zoom.
What's knock knock zoom? We used to call it
Doorbell Dixie.
Doorbell Dixie. Yes, we used to call it Doorbell Dixie. Is that the same thing?
Same thing. And what's so fun about that? You ring somebody's doorbell and then run. Like, what's so fun about that? I don't know.
No, when we become an adult, it's the little things that we thought was so hilarious. We get so annoyed by it. Like, if somebody rang my doorbell, took off running, I can tell I'm getting old because I'm gonna be pissed off, but I did the dumb stuff. So
yeah.
Because I be looking back like, man, when I talk to my kids, I'm like, yeah, I did so many stupid things when I was growing up. I said, I don't even know why. I said, God must love me. That's all I'm saying. Because it didn't make sense. And then looking back at it as an adult, you're like, that didn't make much sense. Like knocking on somebody's door, they probably was sitting down, dinner, watching a movie, and I interrupted their time.
Or toilet paper in someone's car on mischief night.
yes, all the crazy things we did. Yes, the weird things we did just to have fun. I'm telling you, man, it was a great time to be a kid.
It was.
But you went to Pennsgrove, Jersey. I mean, you moved there in 1990.
Yes.
You went to Pennsgrove High School in 1990 to 1991. So, based on what I'm looking at, you opened your own record store at the age of 25. What do you know about music, man? What do you know about music?
You know what? I love music, and I love all types of music. I love jazz. I love classical music. I love, rock music, country music. It just, if it's got a good vibe with it, I'll listen to it. So opening up a record store was something that I thought was going to be a lot of fun. It was me and my best friend at the time, Monique. And, that's when cassette tapes were still out and CDs were still out.
I was going to ask you, but I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Okay. So what kind of music were you selling? Were you selling hip hop music, rock and roll? You were selling like a combination of different type of music? Was it just a certain type of genre of music?
No, it was a combination of all types of music. And we had opened it in Clementon, New Jersey on the White Horse Pike. Mm-hmm. And we had opened it at the same time that we opened a beauty supply store and a salon in Lindenwold up the highway. So we opened both of these businesses around the same time.
So so you was like rich then because you was opening businesses. I was going to get to the beauty salon, but you jumped ahead on me with that one. But so you opening beauty salons and like music stores at the same time. So what you had going on where you had all that money back in the day where you opened all these stores?
The funny thing about that is we didn't have any money.
Okay.
We both did hair. So all we had was these. So we just kept doing hair and we kept filling up the store. We kept doing hair and we kept filling up, the record store. And that is how we filled up our stores, with these right here.
See, this is why like I like to start from the beginning when I have guests on because it gives me more of an outline of how the person became who they are and do what they do. So when we're talking about like how you started your businesses and stuff, it kind of reminds me of how you do your job as a mayor. You're very hands on with it, and you never focus on. And what I see in our conversation, you never focus on what you don't have. You just focus on solely the problem. You're always looking for a solution. You're always hands on trying to fix the problem rather than complaining about it or just staring down the problem or blaming someone else. You take a leadership role. You also take a lot of responsibility when things go wrong. You're the first person to raise your hand, like, "Oh, that was on me. I'm not even going to let my team take it. I'm going to take it." And I see that. I see that early on with you, even with starting the music in the hair salon business. So I have to ask you, where did this purpose of leadership, this leadership come from, this go-getter attitude? What created that inside you? Was it your mom, your grandmother? Who created that?
I was thinking about that, and I definitely think it came from my parents and my grandparents. But one of the things that my mother and I were discussing a couple weeks ago was how hard headed I was, and I was very determined. So one of the things, I had a problem with talking on the phone as a teenager, and every time she caught me and took the phone from me, I somehow got another phone. So I was just always just determined to have my way. And if I want something, I will find a way to get it.
There you go. So the determination of not, being allowed, you didn't accept no, basically. You didn't accept no. You were going to figure out a way to make a way to get. I understand. Listen,
Absolutely.
look, we here on that one because, listen, I tell people, they're like, well, which one of your weakness? I said, my determination. Like, I'm very determined. Like, I don't accept, you tell me no, I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take it for now, but I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try again. I'm not giving up that easy. So we're here there. That's same
Yeah.
here, and it's very important what you do and how you're doing it. Now, growing up in Penns Grove, you left to New Jersey. You left New Jersey. You moved to California, and what I noticed in California, you took some the same leadership role where you helped out with anti-gang, helped out with helping with drug addiction, trying to do counseling with that as well. What made you leave New Jersey area and go to California?
So my mom, she moved from San Diego and she moved to Inglewood. And so that was a time, I missed home. I
Mhm.
missed California. I had been here for about 13 years, maybe 15 years. And I missed home. So I ended up, moving to Inglewood. And back then, I had dreams of becoming a movie star.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And so when I moved out there, I went to lots of auditions, and I got to do some background acting for a couple movies. But I realized I had to get a job, so I ended up getting a job, and um, I took on something, a career field that I had really no experience in, and that was technology.
Okay.
So I ended up getting my hands on technology. Yeah.
So what movies was you in? I'm just curious. So I'm gonna go back and check and see if I see you in any scenes. What movies? Do you remember what movies you was like you featured
Oh,
in?
I know what it is. I know what it is. And you might see me just like that.
Okay, it's like
There was
it's
this,
like it's
there was this goofy movie called The Comebacks,
I'm back.
and it was a football movie.
Yeah, I know
High school
the
student.
yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah, I can't even remember like what the story was about. It was so long ago, but I just remember it was so cold out there, and I was like, "Is this what acting is? Like this is like too much." But it's pretty fun. And then another, it was a TV show, and I cannot think of the name, but it was with Jeff Goldblum,
Mhm.
and we filmed it in Santa Monica, actually in on Venice Beach. And he was a detective who could see his victims' ghosts. So when people were murdered, he would solve the crime because their ghosts would help him solve the crime. And so the sister, I forgot her name, she played in Roseanne Barr's sister in the TV show. She was the victim that had passed away. So keeping a straight face was very hard because we had to act like we couldn't see her. It was a fun time on that set, but actors work hard, like having to do it over and over again, and you're out there for long hours just to film like one or two scenes. It was grueling, but it was a great experience though.
I'm going back and watch the movie Comebacks. I don't know what the other show is. I know the Comebacks. I think it was like a parody of like a bunch of movies they doing.
Probably Wildcats from back in the day.
Yeah, they were like making fun of other movies and stuff. I'm going back to that movie. Now you give me a reason to watch it. I'm going to sit there and study that movie so I can find the little part where I see you hanging out in that movie. I'm like, yes, I interviewed that person. I interviewed a movie star. And then you said something too. You said that it was cold there. I'm like, hold on. You was in Penn Grove. You was in New Jersey for 15 years. You complain about the cold?
Yes, you know what? Let me tell you, it's a different kind of cold. See, out here it's bone chilling. Mm-hmm. Out there, it just gets chilly.
Okay.
It gets chilly, and sometimes, California is nothing but a big desert. So in the desert, sometimes at nighttime, it can get pretty cold.
Yeah.
In the low 50s, low 40s, and it was around the time it was in the fall, so the weather was changing, and it was really cold that night.
I believe you. I haven't been there yet, but I heard
you got to go there.
Yes. So you getting back to your story, to your current role. When you ran for mayor, you're the first African American woman. I think we need to give you special shout out for that. First African American woman to become mayor in Salem County.
Yes.
First, we have to highlight that because I'm just going to touch on that real quick before I get to my question. But listen, people, we often say this on the show. We give people credit, such as Kamala Harris. I'm not saying that she shouldn't get credit, and shout out to her, Barack Obama's. But we also need to give credit to people like Mayor LaDaena Thomas. I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. I'm just going to say Mayor Thomas, okay?
That's fine.
Like Mayor Thomas, who was the first African-American woman to be mayor in Salem County. It's a huge deal, people, and that is influential to the young women out here who can see you, Mayor Thompson, see you in this light and say, I can do that. I can be that one day. So I want to give you credit and just give you your flowers while you're on the show to thank you for what you do, and for all the young ladies get to see the growth and the power and the strength of your dedication to your borough, your dedication to your constituents, and all that you do. Thank you for being influential. Thank you for being exceptional, phenomenal person.
Thank you.
So with that, you overcame, you unthroned mayor that was coming. I think he was 20 years. He was 20 years?
Yes. John Washington was the mayor for 16 years at the time.
Ooh.
And prior to that, I think he had served a total of 28 years by the time I came along, because he was on borough council for a while. And then he ended up running for mayor. And then I think he probably did about 4 terms.
Was he ready to retire at that point? I'm talking about 16
no.
years. I'm like, look, man, I'm done.
No.
You got it. Yeah, I don't even want against you. You
no.
have it at that point. No, he was still ready to go.
Yeah. And he ran this time.
Oh, wow. Well, he must really love it. I don't know what it is about it, but he must love it. But you're the perfect person. I talked to you. We talked in text. We talked about traffic in California. We talked about me stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
But one of the things I talked to you about was I watch your progress. I watch closely all of the great things you're doing in the city. I see how you're bringing new life to the borough of Penn Grove. And one of the things and why I wanted you on the show, and it was so important to have you on the show, is because I wanted to highlight all the work you're doing. I know you're very humble about the work you do, and you often boast, and I understand that it's a team effort, and it truly is, but I want to highlight it because I don't feel like you get enough credit for all the work you're doing to try to turn around Penns Grove, New Jersey, and push the progress. So I want to talk about some of the projects that you have coming along, and maybe even explain a little bit more why this is beneficial. For instance, I heard you announce that a McDonald's is coming to Penns Grove, New Jersey, and I was like, that's huge. That's a huge thing. But I heard some people say, well, why we couldn't have a warehouse, or why we couldn't have this, and why we couldn't have that, and like, well, listen, and your explanation was great. So can you explain to the audience again why that's important that you have McDonald's and that's such a big deal?
So, first and foremost, I want to highlight that first, it's a super Wawa.
Oh, okay.
That was something that the previous administration had approved coming, but with the pandemic, when I took office, the pandemic hit, so it slowed down, development and construction and things like that. And so I was aware that they were looking for a fast food place, and the developer had reached out to so many, fast food places. And initially, Penns Grove has had a bad stigma. So initially, people weren't, interested. But then I guess when I took office and things started moving, the developer was still reaching out to fast food chains, and like almost everyone was interested, like Chick-fil-A, Popeyes, Burger King, McDonald's. And then, once we got to this point, the only one that responded to them was McDonald's. So when they, let us know that McDonald's accepted, their invitation to come, that was exciting news for our town. So I thought that, announcing that to let our residents and let people know, all around that things are happening in Penns Grove.
I think that's important, but also one of the things that's important was I'm gonna go back to something that happened. You invited me to a meeting. I think it was about a year or two ago. You invited me to a meeting where you had the constituents, you had people who were running for, I believe it was city council at the time. And I walked away from that meeting. I'm just going to speak honestly, and I'm just like, wow. I was wowed by how much love for Penns Grove was there, how much fight was for the Penns Grove, how much the people that was in this meeting and people of Penns Grove really love and come together in the community. I know there's some people that separate. We're going to get into all. I know there's some nastiness, but in that room, I could just feel the camaraderie with you guys and how you guys work together. And growing up in the city of Wilmington, I don't see that often. I don't see us come together the same way. So for me, it was just like, whoa, this is something different. And it was just more than what you were saying. Like you talked about with the music. You said with music with you, it's all about the vibe, which I'm with you with. I'm all about the vibe with the music. But I left that room, I remember saying to my wife, like, it's a whole vibe in here. It's an energy in here, and it's incredible. And I was like, they're gonna be good. This barrel is gonna be good. And it's not what anyone was saying. It was more, like I said, the vibe and the energy of we're going to get this done. It was a determination, not just from you, but the other people in that room, like, we're going to get this done. We're not looking at the problem. We're not, we're not going to bow out. Whatever, we know it's uphill battle, but we're going to fight it. We're not going to look at our borough the same way the rest of the world, whoever else looks at it. This is how we see it and what we see for Penns Grove. And I see the progress that Penns Grove is making, and it's looking good. It's looking good.
Thank you.
New park. I seen you trying to tell people, go back to when we was kids, stay up the park. You got to let the paint dry. We was eager to get out there and play.
Yeah.
But what's some of the challenges that you have encountered with running for throughout your term? What's some of the challenges you face, unexpected challenges you faced throughout your first term as mayor?
Well, the first thing is being a borough that doesn't have a lot of money. We're a distressed town. And there's not a lot of money to do a lot of things because, we're the percentage is 60% renters, 40% homeowners. Mm-hmm. So a brunt of the, the taxes come from the residents who are here. So we had to go to the state to get money. Mm-hmm. And I saw that we needed a lot of things. We needed, our streets. A lot of our streets need to be, repaved. We have a lot of, dilapidated structures that need to be, demolished. There's just so much that our town needs. And I kind of thought of it in the terms of that game Farmville, mm-hmm. where you're building a town from scratch. Mm-hmm. So you have to put the infrastructure in, being able to internally put in procedures and processes and have the correct tools to actually operate the day-to-day, things for the borough. That was difficult. That was very difficult. But one of the things that the state provided the borough with, and from my understanding, they provided the borough with this a long time ago, many, many years ago, when we first got on state aid, is a recovery plan. Okay. And in this recovery plan, it basically gives you step by step what you need to do to, make our town efficient, mm-hmm. To help us to be able to stand on our own. 2020, when I took office, was the first time that recovery plan was touched. Mm. So because we started following the recovery plan and we did something that the state pretty much begged us to do, hire a business administrator. Okay. A business administrator, every town has one. The business administrator runs the day-to-day operations of the borough. So when you have a business administrator, that keeps us elected officials out of trouble. Right. Elected officials really should not be running the day-to-day operations. Elected officials should not be, touching money or anything like that. Mm-hmm. The only job of our elected officials, our council members, they say whether money can be spent or not. Okay. And before we can make any moves, it has to be approved by the state. So what people don't know is there's a lot of eyes on us as a borough because of the way things were ran prior. So because we've done so well with the recovery plan, the state, they have supported us so much. They've given us so much money. The federal government's given us money to do the things that we need to do. And there's still a lot to do. And then when you get grant money, oh my gosh, it takes so long to get because it's a lot of red tape. And you've got to pass things. And so it's a slow process. That is one of the things that makes it difficult because on the outside, residents, they may not see a lot going on. Mm-hmm. But that's because you have to clean up what's inside first to be able to get the money to make the difference outside. And now we're at that point where we can start making a difference outside.
You definitely are. You definitely are making a difference. And you can notice, like I said before, you can notice the difference in all the improvements that you're making around the borough. I have to ask you a question, and please forgive me if this question sounds a little insensitive, but why would you want to jump into this position? It seemed like it was such a mess. It seemed like there was so much going on. You had so many eyes on how things was being ran. And, like you said, all eyes was on your borough. Things weren't being ran as efficiently as it should have been. Why would you want to, what made you want to take this position? Because anybody would have understood you like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna fall back on this one. Let somebody else clean this up. Why did you jump in to take this position to clean up this mess?
It's a very interesting story, and I'll give you the remixed version, so I go real fast. Okay. Back in 2014, I came out here to visit, and when I went home, I was speaking to my husband at the time, mm-hmm. and we were just talking about how the town had a lot of abandoned buildings. And some of the places that were open when I was growing up were now vacant, you know. And so I had called my aunt who lives here in Penns Grove, my aunt Barbara. Everybody knows her as Babby. And I said to her, I said, Aunt Babby, I said, who's the mayor of Penns Grove? And she said, it was John Washington. And I said, well, I said, what does the town look like it does? And she said, I don't know. She said, I don't know. It's been looking like this for years. Mm. And so I said, well, why do they keep voting for him? And she said, I don't know. She said, nobody can beat him. Everybody's ran against him and no one can beat him. And I told her, just jokingly, I said, if I ever move back to Penns Grove, New Jersey, and that man's seat is up, I'm going to run for mayor. Mm. And she laughed and she said, good luck because nobody can beat him. I said, I could beat him. Mm. Not even realizing that I was speaking something into existence. Mm. So about 3 years after that, my father-in-law passed away. So my husband and I decided to move out here just for a change. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that man's seat was up. Mm.
Mm. What a coincidence.
It was a coincidence. And so my cousin and I, we were driving through town and she was just saying how, wow, it's sad how our town looks, and it looks terrible. Mm-hmm. And, I told her, I said, well, you know what? I said, what I see is opportunity. Mm-hmm. So when I look at everything, I know what's there, but I'm really good at visualizing things. Mm-hmm. So I could see what it could be. And, she and I, we got excited. We started talking about it. And don't you know, I moved down the street from where I am now. And I met this man. His name is Mike Burkut, an older white gentleman, at the trash cans, taking my trash out. And I asked him, why were the property taxes so high in this town? Because I was looking at the house that I currently live in now. Mm-hmm. I wanted to buy it, but the property tax was like $12,000 a year. And so he got to talking to me and he said, you should come to a town meeting. And, this town hasn't been, what it used to be for a long time. And he had even told me that he ran against the current mayor at the time. And he said, nobody can beat that guy. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, well, you know what? I could beat him. So he told me, he said, well, honey, I don't think you have a chance in hell, but if you run, I'll be your first supporter. I'll be your first donor. I said, okay. Next thing I know, like the neighbors were like at my door saying, I heard you were running for mayor. I was like, I got to think about it. Long story short, I said, what the heck? Let me give it a try. Let me give it a go and see what happens. I believed for some reason it was just, have you ever just known something? It was like in my gut. And even though I didn't, I didn't know anything about politics, I knew nothing about government, but I knew that, I'm a pretty smart girl. I can read, I can comprehend, and I'm great at asking questions. And I'm great at, if I don't know something, I'll go figure it out. So I wasn't worried about that, but it was just something in my gut that told me I was supposed to do this. So I did it. And then I ended up winning, and it was the most amazing feeling. It was the most amazing feeling.
Now, I understand exactly what you mean. Before I go back to that, I just want to answer your question. Yes, I know exactly what you feel like because, like on the show, one of the things, if you look at older episodes, I'm going to get back to that to all our audience out there. I'm going to get back to talk about some of the things. I just don't like talking about myself too much. But there's something that I adapted early in life, and I contribute all the success I had in life, is I never really bought into what anybody else tell me I can and can't do. Mm-hmm. I don't buy into it. And what the conversation I can always have with my children is, listen, I know who I am. I know what I can do. I know what I can't do. I'm not going to go out there and try to work on your motor on your car because I know that I don't know how to work on cars. Right. But I know what I can do. And one of the things I can do is I can figure things out. I can learn. I know how to listen. I have determination. I know that I have self motivation. I don't need anybody to motivate me. I don't need money to motivate me. I'm self motivated. I know that I can do things. And that's all I need to accomplish all things I accomplish. I never allow people opinion to stop me. And I heard a million times in my life, you can't do this or no one else did that. Okay. I'm not there. I'm not you. So if
Yeah.
you couldn't do it, and this is one thing I say to you, I'm not you. And
Yeah.
don't let me tell you what you can't do because you're not me. Just
Yeah.
because I couldn't do it or they couldn't do it, whoever they are, don't mean I can't do it. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
show you that I can do it, not because I'm trying to prove something to you, but just to remind myself of who I am and what I can do. And it sounds like me and you have a lot in common. Maybe that's why we connected so much because we have a lot in common in that because you didn't allow everybody else to stop you from wanting to marry. You could easily be like, well, nobody said can beat this guy. Well, I guess we're just going to stay with it. But you didn't have that. You were like, I can beat it. And everybody's like, well, yeah, okay, if you think so, but you never bought in to what everybody else says. But that's what makes you special in your role. That's what makes you special. And I think that's what helped you win was the fact that you believed it. And I always tell people, if you can believe in you, then you're gonna make people believe in you.
That's
If you
right.
don't believe in you, then people are gonna see you how you
Yep.
go. I don't know if that makes sense, but
It makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
it's just based on how you view yourself is how the world's gonna view you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to ask this question: how did you beat him? I'm just curious. If how did you beat him?
So, I think it was a combination of things. The first thing, people were just tired. They were just tired. And, a lot of the voters that came out to vote when I ran, these are people that hadn't voted in years because they had given up. They were like, he's going to win anyway, so we're just going to stop voting. And so my campaign manager, Sean Brown, he started, running the numbers, and, we started looking at, different things with the borough, and he said, there's a strategy. This is our strategy. This is how we'll win. And we followed that strategy and we won. And I think too, what I had to realize as well is that now that I'm looking back, I'm a very personable person and I'm approachable and I have a lot of energy. So I think people kind of got intoxicated off of my energy, you know?
Yes.
And I was excited and it came out in my message. And so since I believed it, people started believing and they figured, what the heck? Let's get behind this girl and let's help her win. And that's exactly what happened.
That's one of the things I noticed about you, even when you invited me to events such as when we had the COVID and you were giving out food down at the riverfront. And one of the things I noticed when I first seen you was how you got out your car, people run up to you, talking to you, and everybody wanted to engage, and you're just so engaging. You're not like there's people around you like, all right, back up, back up, back up. No, you're like really, you're in the mix. And if you didn't know no better, you would think, you were just one of the residents, in the borough of Pennsgrove, because that's how you move. It's just like, look, I'm just one of you, and you have that kind of vibe where it's easy to get comfortable with you. It's easy to talk to you. You don't make it like, I'm up here and you're down here. You just meet people at their level. You talk to them. You answer their questions. You're impressionable, so it makes it easier to want to support you. I don't even live in your barrel, and I was like, I'll vote for you if I could.
Thank
Like
you.
seriously, because it's like you said, you have a very affectionate spirit where you just make people comfortable and make people. You just if they don't like you, then there has to be a problem with you because with that person because you just have that spirit where it's hard. You make it hard to not like you and not want to support you. So I agree with you on that. Now, we talked about some of the hard things that you dealt with throughout the term. Let's talk about the great things, the positive things that happened throughout your term. So, what are some of the positive things that you would like to talk about that happened during this first term, with you sitting as the mayor?
You know, I think the most positive thing out of everything is the people.
Mm.
The people who believe in the vision, and the people that who come out and they volunteer, the people that have volunteered to be on boards and committees and things like that. One of the biggest things that means so much to me is how we've been able to bring the community back together. Mm. Because for so long, there was a divide. Okay. And I'm just going to keep it real. There was a racial divide to a certain degree. And when I was growing up here, everybody was together. Mm-hmm. You had Black friends, white friends, Latino friends, and we all spent the night over each other's houses. So to see that, there was kind of a divide here, that was the first thing that I said I was going to get rid of, because I'm all about being together. So when our councilwoman, she resigned and moved to Carney's Point, but Charlene Martin, she came up with doing oldies at the riverfront. Okay. She saw they were doing it in Salem, and she actually went and talked to the people that were making that happen, to the DJ, and she brought them here. And when I tell you, people started coming out, people from all over, people coming from, New York, Maryland, everywhere, Philly, like people were coming here to attend our oldies at the riverfront. And ever since we did that, I noticed a difference the second summer that we did it. When people feel good about where they live, people start to take care of where they live. Absolutely. People start to take pride in where they live. So I noticed, you still have some knuckleheads that throw trash out the window on the streets. You're always going to have that, or people that just don't take care of their yards. But for the most part, people take pride in our town. Sometimes I'll go out there and I'll just see residents just out there cutting grass, out there picking up trash, out there because they feel good about where they live. And people who come from the outside and visit, they pick up on that energy. Yes. We've had 5 families move here this year from attending our events. We've had people, entrepreneurs, investors, developers who have come to our events or who watch on my Facebook page, and they're like, you know what? Penn's Grove ain't so bad. Let's go see what's happening down there. People have an interest in our town now, and I credit that to the events that we've had. Some people say, oh, they're the feel-good administration. That's what our oppositions call us, the feel-good administration. And I'll take that.
What does that mean, the feel-good administration? What do you mean by that?
So they would say, all we want to do is party. Oh, yeah, she makes people feel good with her words, but nothing's happening. That's the feel-good administration. Well, you know what? I'll take that. Because people here feel really good about what's happening here in town. And in addition to that, the second biggest thing that makes me proud is, as I mentioned before, we've been following the recovery plan and doing everything that we're supposed to do. We've gotten so much money to make things happen. We've gotten a grant, a food security grant to plan for our grocery store. We've gotten a $50,000 planning grant to plan the redevelopment of Main Street all the way down to our pier, rebuilding our pier. People believe in what I believe in. So when I communicate, what we envision, what me and my administration envisions, when I communicate that to the powers that be, they buy into it as well. And they can see the work that we're doing. So they don't mind, giving us grant money for this or that. So I'm excited about all of that.
As you should be, as you should be. Now, as far as the feel good, I just want to go back to that. I don't get that. I don't get that because looking back at some of the things you did, brought a new sanitation department, the watershed project, you're fixing the roads. Like you said, there's a lot of things. Like I talked about the park, bringing in McDonald's. You're working on bringing in a new grocery store. I mean, yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Yeah, I would take that too. Yeah, it feels really good. It feels good that residents come here or start to feel good about their neighborhood, feel good about where they live. Yeah, it feels good when people come to visit here and they want to stay to a point. 5 different families that moved there. Like, yeah, okay. So if that was meant to be a slight against us, then thank you. That should be our slogan. Yeah, we're to feel good. We're to feel good. Yes, and it feels good to live here, and it's going to continue to feel good to be here. It's going to feel good for people to come to visit to our functions. If we're throwing a party for the oldies, goodies night, people are going to feel good at those events. And yes, because that's what people need, especially coming from COVID. I mean, if we don't need nothing else, don't we need to feel good? I mean, we were stuck in the house for like a year.
Right. I'm like, who doesn't like to have a nice time?
Exactly. So,
there are some people like that,
So what should you be? If you shouldn't be the feel good administration, what should you be?
I don't know.
What should you aspire to be? I'm just trying to figure it out here. What should you aspire to be if it's not feel good? I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
Politics as usual. Is that what it's supposed to be?
Pretty much, probably so.
Take it back to Jay-Z, the store. It's definitely a lot of great work, and one of the things I learned is when you start to do work and you start to make progress and change, you're going to ruffle a lot of feathers. You're going to make a lot of people uncomfortable when you start to progress and change. But it's great hearing that Penn's Grove is on such a huge upswing and great things are coming ahead for it. We have to commend that to the leadership, not only of you, but to the people who are working around you. And I know, like I said, we're very stuck on time. So if we feel like we're rushing things, Mayor Thomas just went through a re-election. When we record the day we're recording this, yesterday, that was the whole election day. So I'm sure Mayor Thomas is wore out from pounding pavement, getting those votes in. So if we feel like we're rushing things, people, that's why I'm trying to be conscious of Mayor Thomas' time and being grateful that she gave us this time right after such a rigorous election process. So going into that, tell me a little bit about that process. How was it going through the re-election, trying to get re-elected? How was that progress? How was that process?
Well, first I have to start from here. During the primary, the previous mayor was putting out, I call them nasty grams, but letters. And so I got annoyed with that. And a couple of our residents and one of our council members decided to run a write-in campaign for me, and I supported it. Well, I got emotional, made a mistake of posting maybe 2 or 3 posts, I don't know, towards the end, right before the June primary. And I said, if you're tired, of this, write me in, because what was going to happen is, if I got enough write-in votes in the primary for the Democratic nomination, I was just going to take it so that our residents, along with myself, didn't have to endure all the nastiness in the general election. People here, we're sick of letters. We're sick of all that smearing and stuff. So I said, you know what? If I can wipe him out in the primary, I'll just go ahead and do that. But I never campaigned. I never bought anything. I never campaigned, never asked anybody to write me in except for those posts towards the end. So I didn't get enough write-in votes. So basically I lost. And there's a sore loser law that if you lose in the primary, you can't run in the general. So John Washington and Louis Pasquale, he's a Republican and John Washington's a Democrat. My enemies decided to come together. They joined forces and they took the county clerk to court, and the judge ruled that I was campaigning. And I was actually in the hospital getting a surgical procedure, so I couldn't be present. So the judge, ruled that, I was campaigning and that I couldn't be on the ballot for the general election. So it was disheartening. No one expected the judge to rule in that way, which was, very odd, but nonetheless, that was the ruling. Mm. So, I was I was laying in the hospital and I decided, to go on my Instagram and talk about it under medication with a headscarf on. Anyway.
You had to add the headscarf to it. With that medication on, I had the headscarf, you had a bonnet on.
That's how, that's how determined I was, because I laid there in that bed and I was just, I was upset. And and that's what I do. I allow myself to feel the pain. And then that thing that we were talking about, that thing kicked in, and that determination. Okay, well, I'll run as a write-in then. Mm-hmm. So I decided to run as a write-in. And, knowing that, winning as a write-in is very difficult, because it's people have to get your name right, or at least get close to it. It's just something that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, this was, not a presidential election year. So the voter turnout is very low. So I had a lot, against me, stacked against me. But I knew that my work could speak for itself. And I knew that I had a strong council. I've got a great administration. The employees, they work hard. And I'm saying, wow, I have the support of these folks. We can do this. And that's what we did. We got out there, we hit the pavement, we did canvassing, we did a lot. And to see last night that there were 245 write-ins, that's something unheard of. So it was 245 write-ins. Louis Pasquale got 176 and John Washington got 140. Mm. So they still have a few mail-in ballots coming in. And I think right now what they're doing is going through those write-ins to see, who are they for me, or are they for Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, or whoever. They have to weed through all that stuff. Right. But I am pretty confident and hopeful that I actually did win, because again, to get that many, write-ins is just unheard of. And from my understanding, I would be the second mayor to win as a write-in in 100 years. Ooh. So I made history again. Maybe
you just making sure your name gonna be in history books. You just said
I'm
sure.
determined.
When they start teaching history, they gonna mention my name. So, okay, I see what the motivation is now. Okay, I got it. Uh-huh. You said when they do history, I want to make sure they say my name over here.
Yeah, but you know what? You know what, Alan? I think for me, I'm not afraid to fail. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what stops some people. They're afraid of failure, and you cannot be afraid to fail. You as long as you give it all you got and you learn along the way, you can always come back and do it again with the lessons that you've learned. So never be afraid to fail.
Facts. True. That is true. Say it again.
Sometimes your failure can actually be your win for later.
Yes. People think that a setback is some kind of way going to, determine the rest of your life. Sometimes that setback is exactly what you need to push you forward. I had somebody once told me, treat your stepping stones as building blocks. Yeah. You can build the house that you want to live in. Like just utilize those things. And oh man, it's just crazy that you're saying this, because I'm telling you, I'm not lying. I'm not playing with you. I bring my family down. I had this very conversation with my kids and my wife yesterday. This is exactly what I was telling them. I said, listen, one of the things, again, success, why I was able to be successful, whether it was at jobs or anything I'm doing, is because I was not afraid to fail. I never bought into what anyone said. You can't be afraid of that. I never looked at it as fail. And if I did fail, All right, I learned one way how
Yep.
to not do something. That's why I
Yep.
learned. I learned a way of not doing something. And I utilized even my failures to propel me to success. But going back to you, it's like I did wake up this morning. I'm not gonna lie. I woke up early this morning. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the election results. And listen, I don't usually look at the election results around this time, but I was on Salem County looking at the election results and trying to see, make sure that you won. I texted you yesterday and say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm definitely praying for you. I'm rooting for you, and I definitely was. I still am. And I looked at it and said, oh, okay, she got it. And then when I texted you, we started texting late in the afternoon. He was like, well, we still got counts of votes. I'm like, like it looks like it's enough of a gap where it's over.
Right. It's a
Like it's
69
over.
vote gap right now. So, but it's funny that you said, the phrase setback.
Yes.
And I have this saying that I tell myself all the time. And it's what I told myself that day I was laying in the hospital.
Mm.
This is a minor setback, but my setback is going to be my get back.
Mm.
So always let your setback be your get back.
Yes, yes. And also be very careful when you're in the hospital and you got your scarf on. I don't care whether you're in the bed, you watching TV. Take the scarf off before you go on social media and say anything. All right, people? Take the scarf off first. That scarf energy is something serious. I'm telling you, listen. You get the fingers working, that scarf energy, just take your scarf off. Even if your hair is a little frizzly, just take the scarf off before you send a message next time. All right? It's a message to you people, all right?
I was looking at it today. I said, I was tripping.
Nah, but sometimes you gotta get that off. Listen, because and I know just by getting to know you, you're very humble and you always give off a humble and always a sweet and nice spirit. But everybody has their limit. Everybody got their limit. Like, all right, today just ain't the day. I'm already dealing with a lot. I just had surgery. I'm in the hospital. And you still taking shots at me. And I'm not saying sitting here trying to defend you because you don't need me to defend you. But I'm just saying we all have our limits. Where okay, today's the day. You want the smoke? All right, no problem. No problem. Let me tighten my scarf up real quick. All right, good.
Yep.
Good. My hair good. All right, we get over here. And you gotta let people know that just because I smile, just because I'm nice, don't mean I'm a pushover or I'm somebody that you're okay with. I take the shots, I take the nasty layers, but don't take that as me that's going to sit here and allow you to do that to me.
Because I don't like bullies.
Exactly. You're not going to be bullied, and that's the thing. People think because you're a nice person that I can bully you and you're going to let me get away with it. And sometimes you just gotta step out of character for a second. Show people that listen, I got that other side too, but I choose not to show it.
And something that I inherited from my mother is I can say no with a smile. And me.
Okay. You have to show me that one. You have to show me.
No.
Listen, I felt that one when you said I could tell you no with a smile. I said, oh, I felt that one.
No, we're not doing that. No, sorry.
Oh man, that's some old school right there. You took it back to old school right there. Like I can tell you that with a smile. Like, look, I ain't playing with you. That's how you know you. See, when we was kids, going back to when we was kids, that's how when you knew you was in trouble. Little looks that your mom made and stuff. That man, all right, I probably should shut up, man. Let me go sit my behind down, eat this cereal real quick.
Let me tell you, I'm still scared of my mother, and I am 50 years old.
I'm with you.
When my mom used to come home from work, me and my brother used to say, whatever the heck we were going to ask her, we better ask her before that makeup comes off and that pink bonnet goes on her head. Because once that pink bonnet hits her head, everything is no.
I know that's right. Okay, you want the pink bonnet. So I don't mean to keep harping on this, but that's where that energy came from. Okay, it makes see how when you talk, it all comes together. That's where. Okay, I got you. Okay, cool. The pink bonnet. All right. So I'm gonna make sure if I ever have to ask you something, come back on the show or something, I'm gonna just check with you. Like, yo, you all right? You know what I mean? You got the bonnet on. You in the office? Catch you in the office hours. At least I know at that point, you might be in a okay mood. I catch you too late. I don't know, man. You might look get that note with the smile on face. Like we're not doing that, Alan. We're not going to do it. But, all right, so I believe that you're going to win this term. I believe that you're going to have a second term. So what do the people in Penns Grove have to look forward to with a second term under Mayor Thomas?
They can look forward to having a grocery store.
Mm.
They can look forward to new businesses coming here. They can look forward to, a community center for our kids. We got a grant from Cory Booker. He supported us getting that grant for $413,000. Now, granted, we have to take that grant money and put it into an existing structure. So it's going to take a lot more money than that $413,000 to do this community center. Mm-hmm. But we're going back out for more money. And as long as we keep doing what we're supposed to do, they're going to keep supporting us. Even with our public works, I wanted to bring our public works department back. They just gave us $500,000 to fund that. So there are so many things, so many great things that we have to look forward to. And you know what? I'm the one to bring it.
Yes.
And as long as I have a strong council, I have to say, hands down, this is the most cohesive council that I've had. We all respect each other. We all work well. We have a blast, and we don't care about parties. It consists of a Republican. We have a Republican. We have, I'm an independent. We have Democrats. I mean, we all work together because we all want the same thing for our town. And as long as I have that kind of support, we can't go wrong.
No, that's right. That's one thing I learned about you. I'm going to let you go real soon because I know you got to go. But you do definitely reach across the aisle to, like you said, Republicans, Democrats. You work with whoever is in office. You're not sitting there like, well, I'm an independent, so I only work with independents. You set the template of what our government should be, and we're not going to go into all that, but what it should be with reaching across the aisle, putting the people first and getting things done. And That's what seems to be your focus, is to get things done. Not worry about who's a Republican, who's a Democrat, who got this car, who got that house, who makes this money. Listen, let's get this done. What do we need to do to get this done? And that's what it seems to be. And Penn's role is benefiting from your leadership, from the city council. Shout out to the city council, all the city council members, all the people in Penn's Borough, all the people who are
our employees. Without them, we couldn't do anything. They are fantastic. We have great police department. We're doing really good. And I'm proud of the staff and the team that I have, because there's no I in team.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's no we either. No, I was messing with you. Sorry.
There's no W.
I had to mess with you.
There's an E, but there's no W.
Y'all too young to remember that commercial, so y'all don't get that joke, okay? Y'all don't get that joke. But okay, I know you gotta get ready to go, so I'm gonna ask you two more questions.
Sure.
So first question I have to ask you is, this is a personal question. I need some assistance with something. Is there somebody you can talk to about, the traffic over the Delaware Memorial Bridge, so we can, get over there a little quicker? Because I went over there and it took me like an hour to get across that bridge. I mean, listen, I know, we supposed to interview about you, but I'm asking a personal question now. Can you help me? Can you help a brother out with that? Like, Get on the phone, like, hey, we need to clear up some traffic here.
Unfortunately, no.
Hey, I figured I'd take a shot at it. What?
You know what? One of the things I can assist with eventually is, if things go my way, we'll have a steamboat that'll carry you across. You don't got to use the bridge. Get a steamboat like we used to have.
Okay, you trying to bring back the steamboat though? So we're going to drive up on the steamboat?
I don't know how that's going to work, but we're going to plan all that out. So that's what our grant is for.
I know that's right. Look, you said, I don't know how it's going to work. I just know we need a boat. We find them boat.
So it's so much, it's so much that I just see for our town, and I make sure that I share that with anybody that'll listen. One of the things that I'm proud of is our governor supports Penn's Grove. He supports me. I can call him on his cell phone anytime, and I shared with him the vision that I had for Penn's Grove, and he was excited about it. And he put me in touch with the people that we needed to get in touch with, who will, the money people. that'll make sure that this happens for us. So, I mean, I'm excited. And the way I see it is this. There are so many things that I wanted to do and see as a child growing up. So if I'm in a position to make some of those things happen for our kids today and for our residents, I'm going to do that as long as it's legal.
There you go. There you go.
Because I'm allergic to jail.
You know what? I'm not even gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch it because you see, you keep setting it up for it.
I know.
Touch it. You say as long as it's legal. Okay, I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Yeah, I don't play those other.
I'm with you when I learned the jail. I'm like, look, man, I ain't trying to be sitting nobody in jail. I'm good on that. Y'all got that. You can have that part. I'm good. I like being home. I like going out my car. I'm good. I'm good on that. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. But definitely, you know, I hate to keep repeating the same thing, but I just want to keep highlighting the fact that you are an excellent leader.
Thank you.
So it's an honor to know you. I'm grateful to know you and to get to know you better. Like I said, I've been watching what you're doing in your barrel of Penn's Grove. I've been watching all the change, the progress over the last couple of years, and I'm in awe and shock of how much progress you made. I'm just like, wow, this is amazing seeing this. It gives me hope for not only Penn's Grove, but to other places as well, that with correct leadership and with the right leadership, that change is possible, because a lot of times as people, we start to get into this place where we start to fall into believing that change is not possible, and what it is what it is, and it's how it's always going to be. And you've proven the opposite of that with the right leadership, with the right person, with the right attitude, and the willingness and determination that anything can change for the better. And you've proven that. And I'm going to continue to pray for Penn's Grove, pray for you. Continue to support you in any way, shape, form I can, or you need me to continue to keep you, Penn's Grove moving forward. I appreciate you taking the time with us today, sitting down, talking with us, joking with us. One last question, and I'll let you go, because like I said, I'm being mindful of the time. I'm watching the time clock and let you go. One last question. So there's a young lady or young man out here, and this is the hardest question that I'm going to ask you today. Okay. There's a young lady or a young man out here right now, and they're dealing with wanting to start a business, maybe get into politics. They maybe want to start something, and people are telling them no. What we talk about majority of this episode was telling them no and telling them they can't be the next president, the next governor. They can't be the next person that push change. What advice that we haven't talked about today would you give to that person to tell them to, hey, ignore the noise and go for what you want? What advice would you give that person?
It probably sounds corny, but it's true. Knowledge really is power. And so what I would tell them is to use, their phones for something other than social media. Go look up some stuff. Whatever it is that you want. I don't care if you want to, and I always use it as an example. I don't care if you want to be a goat herder. Google how to become a goat herder. And you research that. And then the second thing, you look and see who's goat herding, and go surround yourself around some of the best goat herders and learn from them. Be coachable. Jump in, volunteer. Someone like me, I'm always open to volunteers and, someone, especially young people. They're our future. The kids that we see today are the grown-ups of tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So we have to be there to support them and provide any information or resources we can. A lot of people today are afraid of the young folks today. They're afraid of them. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, there's no reason, there's not a reason to be, but you got to push past that. You can't just avoid them. You got to get in there with them, and so that's what I would tell them, research, use your phone, go on Google, read, ask questions, surround yourself around the people that are doing those things, study those people, be coachable.
Mayor Thomas, hold on. First, you gotta get out of my head, okay? You got to get out of my head because I'm telling you, you gotta get out of my head. Because I swear to you, that's exactly what I be saying in my what I do. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on today. I must, see through today because you can see right through all my thoughts. This is exactly the type of stuff. You're absolutely correct, and that's exactly some of the things I apply. For instance, I wanted to be a supervisor. You know what I started doing, people? I started sitting down and eating lunch with supervisors. That's
Yep.
what happened.
Yep.
Became a supervisor. I want to retire. I told my wife, I'm going to retire soon. You know what I do? Once every 2 months, I go to dinner with 3 women who are all retired. All of them retired. I said, look, this is what you do. Surround yourself with people who you want to be like. So if you want to be in jail, surround yourself with people in jail. No, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't surround
If that's
yourself.
what you want.
No, but that's what you want, though. It's an easy way to get that. But if you truly want success, that it's important to build a team around you and people around you to do it. Don't don't be afraid to put people around you that are successful, who are reaching heights, and start looking down on yourself. Believe in yourself. And don't look at where you are. Look at where you're trying to be. And
Yes.
like Mayor Thomas said, allow yourself to be coachable in that moment. That's the important part of being in that moment is be coachable so that when you're around those people, you're not just sitting around them, keeping them company, or trying to what's the word we used to use back in the day? Freeload off them. You're not freeloading off them. You're freeloading off the information and gaining information and knowledge to help you to get to that level one day. And that's what the most important thing to do is surround yourself with a team of people, find out what you want to do, and then surround yourself with like-minded people
Yep.
to help you to get to those higher heights. It's nothing wrong with it, people. It's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And Mayor Thomas, like I said, you just all in my head today, man. I don't know. I don't know what's happening today. I should put a hat on next time because you just read all my thoughts. All right, but again, best of luck with you. My prayers is going with you with
Thank you.
the election. Congratulations. I'm just going to say it, and I hope it. I'm just going to say it because I believe in congratulations with your second term. I'm looking forward to seeing all the great progress that I know you're going to make in Penns Grove and all the influence that you're going to give to future leaders, to people who are out there to Penns Grove, that you're bringing hope back to Penns Grove and bringing the Penns Grove back to its glory days and even better than that. And I'm just grateful to know you and to be able to have this conversation with you. And it's just an honor to do this. This is just an honor. Just thank you for taking the time to talk with me. Like I said, you had a very busy day. You could easily say, "Look, Alan, look, I ain't got time for you, man. I had to catch you in traffic, okay? But you gave me the time, and I appreciate that as well.
Anytime.
Yeah, you definitely wanted to come back. You wanted to come back.
Yes, absolutely.
I did offer to come see you, but she was like, "No, no, you can stay your butt right on that side of the river. You good? I don't want
Because
you
I know I have a planning board meeting tonight, so I was like, that's not gonna work. Let's just do Zoom.
But definitely, I definitely want to have you back sometime in the future. We're gonna have to definitely do this again. I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed everything. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Anything anybody needs to know? If you want to leave your contact information, if people from Penns Grove, Penns Grove wants to get in contact with you, or people want to know more about Penns Grove, how they can visit Penns Grove, why they should visit, why they should invest in Penns Grove, or even move to Penns Grove. Is there any information that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. Penns Grove is the place to be, and just look out for us.
There you go.
Because we are up and coming, And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they can shoot me an email at mayorlthomas@pennsgrove-nj.org. They can find me on Facebook. Just type in Mayor LaDaena Thomas, LaDaena Thomas, and the same for Instagram.
There you have it. There you have it. So reach out to Mayor Thomas. Check out Penns Grove. I've been there. It's a very beautiful town. It's going to come up. The riverfront is definitely really, really nice.
And come eat at DePaulo's. They have the best food. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you ain't never tell me about this. You be holding out on me. What's up with this? Like we talked. You ain't never mentioned this.
I know. DePaulo's.
See, I was trying to let you go, but then you gonna drop the bomb and thought you was gonna walk away. What's Apollo's?
DePaulo's Italian restaurant. DePaulo's on Broad Street. They have the best food. They're so good. So you gotta check it out. Maybe one day you'll come over and we'll all go over to DePaulo's. It's really good.
All right, send me the invitation. I mean,
I
because I
sure
got to work on
will.
you. I know you busy. You know, you got you got my phone number, and you know how to get in touch with me. Let me know when.
I sure will.
They so
Next time we're all over there, I'll shoot you a text. Come on over.
I will come over the bridge. You know, it might take me an hour to get over the bridge because you
And
said
probably.
you took me out over the bridge, but I get over there. I get over there because definitely they got chicken parm, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my thing. That's my jam right there. Okay,
Yes.
we in business. Oh, definitely. See, you didn't start something now. I ain't even
Mm-hmm.
eat dinner yet. And I'm hungry too. Might go
Mm-hmm.
there at night. I don't know. But thank you again, man.
Thank
See, I can
you.
sit here and talk to you all day. You know, it's just a great conversation. Again, people remember to like, subscribe to the channel. You know, leave a comment. Let us know, you know, what you thought about today's episode. You got any questions? You want to talk to us about anything? Hit us up. You know, and hit Mayor Thomas up. Check out Penn's Grove. Like I said, it's a beautiful town. It's on the come up. So if you're looking for a new place to move, you're looking to migrate, you want to come to New Jersey, check out Penn's Grove. It's on the come up, and definitely with the leadership of Mayor Thomas, you won't be disappointed, and you won't lose on your investment. So this is something that you're looking forward to doing. This is where you want to be at. Penn's
Yes.
Grove is the place to be. You know,
Yes.
they don't do doorbell Dixie or anything no more, or what you
No.
doorbell Zoom. You ain't gotta worry about that
None of
happening
there.
no more. Mayor Thomas shut that whole situation down when she was a kid. You know, the record store is closed now, so you ain't gotta worry about CDs. You can still rock your MP3s. But thank you
Mm-hmm.
again, Mayor Thomas, for your time. You know, I hope everybody learned something, took something from today's episode. Until next time, you know what I always say: stay woke, stay focused. Most importantly, stay tuned. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.